all and welcome. This is Shanna today for Pixi Dust Designs with a special sneak peek video for the upcoming release on April 29th. The two products I'm going to feature in today's video are the new Rough Day tags that has this adorable set of tags that actually can be into shaker tags, have alternate little endings, and this adorable little Peekaboo puppy. Also has this sentiment, have a possum day. And these are all the different little window options you have to create some fun shaker tags. Also releasing is this new Puppy Love paper pad. Super cute. It all ties together with all of the new puppy release stuff, including the new Woof stamp set. Today's card is going to be a fun fold card that requires a piece of cardstock for the card base that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches long that we are going to score in different places. For the center, since I'm using colored cardstock, I do like to grab a piece of 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch white cardstock just for my center mat for any writing you want to do for the card recipient. Some colored cardstock mats that we'll go over the measurements for here in a minute. And of course, the Puppy Love paper pad. I had a tough time picking what one I wanted to use today, but ultimately landed on this one with the cute little dog house and the pink. And then it reverses over to this pattern on the back. So let's go ahead and start by scoring our card base, because then the measurements for the rest of the paper really base off of your scoring. Okay. To keep it nice and clean on camera, I'm grabbing my smaller scoreboard. I do have a larger one that I could use as well, but it doesn't film as easy. So for today's purposes, I will show you how to do it on a small one, but I'll give you the measurements if you were to do a full size, like 12-inch scoreboard as well. I did create this little template that helped me with my measurements. So my first score in is going to be at 1 1/4. Then I'm going to flip and do a 4-inch score. If you were using the larger one, you could do it, this is 1 1/2, not 1 1/4. You would score at 1 1/2 and then again at 7 inches. What this is gonna do is create this fun fold where it doesn't close like a normal card. You have these two little gate folds. So it's not a full gate fold where you're in the middle, but it is a alternate sized one where I have this smaller piece on the bottom and a larger piece on top. So first score will be 1 1/2. And then I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to score at 4 inches. I do like to score both sides. It makes it a little easier for me to crease. And these should butt up almost identical to each other. It looks like I'm just slightly off, so I'm going to scooch it in just a little bit when I go to crease it, and that'll be cute. So there is our gatefold. Just checking my measurements. I have 1 1/2 and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next, we're gonna create the mats we need for this. For my project, I did choose to use a double mat, but you could easily knock this down and just cut the pattern paper to size. But for my double mat, I went ahead and I'm gonna bring back in my template, cut a piece to 4 1/8 by 1 3/8 and 4 1/8 by 3 7/8. What that's giving us is just an 1/8 inch shy on all sides, or I guess a 1/16 shy on all sides, just creating a clean little border, and then we will add the pattern paper on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. I do prefer to use wet glue for this because it lets me wiggle to get it perfectly centered. And then you just want to make sure you burnish it down so you get a really good bond. So that's step 1. Step 2 is going to bring in our pattern paper. So for this, I'm going to put the pattern on the top and then the backside pattern on the bottom. Bringing back over the template, I know I need to cut it at 4 inches, and then I can make my cuts off of that. So I'm going to cut a 4-inch piece, making sure I'm minding the pattern because it's going to be 4 inches wide. So I want my 4 inches to go here. If it was a mixed pattern where it wasn't directional, it wouldn't matter kind of obviously what side you did it, but since mine is a directional pattern, I do need to make sure. So that centers right on top of that one. And this is going to center right down here on this one. We'll go ahead and glue those down now. And then we get to work on our puppy dog. And this is the base design of our card. I love playing with the pattern papers. I love the fact that they're reversible, so one piece of paper stretches that much farther. But where the real whimsy of this card comes in is definitely gonna be the puppy. So I pre-die cut a bunch of the puppy dogs out of 3 different cardstocks. I did a dark chocolate one, more of a craft tone one, and then I die cut him in white. I also did the little eyes and nose out of some glossy black in here too that you'll see when we get to that. But I did this so I can mix and match. The puppy dies have this great debossed on it that kind of helps you puzzle these together. So I can take, say, a chocolate brown base with a craft nose, and then I could add craft ears, and you'd have a dog. So I will have the materials to make 3 of them just by mixing and matching between 3 different colors. So since I did the craft base, I think what I want to do is this chocolate brown dog. I just wasn't sure if I wanted him in white or, brown and white or brown and craft. So what I'm doing is I'm setting it on top of the paper to see. And I actually think I want it in brown and craft just because I think that white is gonna blend too much into here. Yep, so we are gonna do that and then start layering up the dyes. So let's go ahead and move this out of our way for a second. So I'm gonna need the craft center. I could do craft paws or I could do chocolate paws, I think. Or I can do one of each. I think we'll go ahead and keep it chocolate. I do want these craft ears. And bring over the other chocolate nose. So now I need, chocolate paw. So the eyes are really neat. I love how this set gives you a highlight on the eyes. So you have a base piece you cut out of white, and then you layer the black on top of it, and it gives you the white highlight. Okay, so now I'm back and this adorable little puppy is all glued together. You can see how they all layer up perfect. What I did notice when I was gluing mine together though this time is I picked a lighter weight dark brown cardstock. And since this is going to be kind of a focal feature and it's going to hang over one of my edges, I'm going to double it up onto that white one. It just helps create it make it a little more sturdy since it won't be fully supported by the card all the time. If I was just gluing it flat to a card, I might not do this. And just like that. And we have his little paws. Now we're gonna bring back in our card. And you're gonna kind of see how this is all going together. So I wanted him kind of peeking out over this bottom piece with that top as the background. Like that, and then we're going to put a sentiment over here. Our sentiment is actually going to be used from this die as well. The background for it is, I'm going to grab this and we are going to pull in one of our sentiments here. I believe we're going to use Have a Possum Day. I think that's just too perfect, and I can use it for a variety of reasons when I want to hand out the card. But I needed to kind of decide what color, and I'm leaning towards this darker red, and I needed to make sure I would fit. And it does. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut this out of dark red, and then we will heat emboss in white Have a Possum Day. Okay, so we're back with the sentiment. I went ahead and die cut a second one out of that white cardstock again so I could strengthen up my die cut. And now we will go ahead and glue these guys down. So I'm going to start with my puppy because I need to get the paws centered right here on my mat. Grab my pickup tool and for this I really do want it butted right up, oops, to the edge of the paper, because it makes him look like he's grabbing onto it. That one right back up and just make sure they're straight, and then we can glue. So now here we have options. I can actually glue, and I'm going to, the head to the top. The paws are going to be on the bottom, but the head's going to be on the top. And really it looks like my lineup for my glue is everything going to be above that. So I can flip it over. And what I'll do is I'm going to set it down and then lift up to finish straightening it out. I want to flip over and make sure I don't have any glue down here, because what that would do is glue it down to the bottom, and I don't want that. But there is the cute little puppy. Now for this, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm only going to put glue on the top half. Set it down and then make sure I'm attached well. And I seem to be catching my little puppy paws. So I just need to make sure they're nice and glued down. And that pretty much wraps up the card. We are going to decorate the inside really quick because I think it's just as important as the front sometimes. And for this, I have a white piece of cardstock, but I thought we would grab a couple of the stamps and go ahead and pop them in here. I think I do want them up there. So let's go ahead and grab I think this guy with the bone is just too cute. So we're gonna go ahead and pop him right up there. It'd be really cute to write like the recipient's name inside the bone. So let me grab a brown ink. I do reach for the VersaFine Clairs a lot when I'm not using my Misty, because they are a really juicy ink pad, and they are honestly one of my favorites for first time impressions. They also do a great job for second generation stamping, where you stamp off your first impression and then stamp again for a lighter use of the ink. They do a really complete image then too. We're just gonna pop him up in that corner. Make sure I have even pressure. When using a stamp block, you don't want to rock it, you don't want to swiggle it, because you'll end up with a smudged image. And I actually started to up there. But the joy of this being glued down, guys, is I can flip it over. So we're gonna stamp them again and see which one I like better. I rocked a little bit right at the beginning. So you just want even pressure, straight down, and then straight back up. Much better. So we're gonna keep him up there at the top and bring back in the card. Making sure I have it oriented right, and we'll glue it down. Nobody's ever gonna know that I stamped them a little messy on the back, because it'll be glued to the card base. So this mat piece I mentioned at the beginning, it is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. That's essentially just taking a 1/4 inch off of the width and the length of an A2 card. I knew this was going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I just wanted it to be centered there. And our card is done. Thanks so much for joining me, guys, and I'll be back soon again with another fun project. Until then, guys, bye-bye.